Alright guys, so we're going to try this out. We're going to try to do a video of me actually standing in front of the screen, just like you would see me in class. I got the screen up, we're going to do our notes. So this is writing linear functions number 4, and we're going to add on to what we've been talking about the past couple of days. You're still writing linear functions, so let's get this a little bit bigger so we can all see it. There we go. It says we're going to write the linear function given 2 points. Alright, well, we've talked about writing linear functions when given a slope and an intercept. We've talked about writing linear functions when given a point and a slope. And today what we're going to do is we're going to have to use 2 points. Now we still want to get our linear function in y equals mx plus b form. Alright, so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to use, there's the bell. We're going to have to use our 2 points to figure out the slope, and then we're going to use our slope that we figured and one of those points to use point slope. Alright, so first things first, let's go ahead and take these 2 points and figure out the slope. Now if you remember, there is a formula for slope. It is y minus y1, or excuse me, y1 minus, it's actually y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and that's going to get our slope. Alright, well, we have our 2 points here. Here's x1, y1, and here's x2, y2, and we're going to plug those into the formula where they're supposed to go. Alright, so y2 was 1 minus y2, or excuse me, I got it backwards. y2 was 4, and y1 is 1 over x2 is 4, and x1 is 1. We do our little subtraction here, we're going to get 3 over 3, which reduces nicely to 1. Alright, so that's going to be our m. Our m is 1. So that's our slope. Now what I need to do is I get to pick one of these points, either that one or that one, and I'm going to use my slope and put it into point slope formula. That's what we used yesterday. If you remember, it's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Alright, well, here's my slope. Let's get a little color coded here. Here's my slope. That's going to go for m. Remember, that's what we got for 1. And I'm going to choose, let's use this one. This is going to be my point. Now, the reason I'm going to use that one is because it's got easier numbers. It's got 1 and 1. Those are pretty easy numbers. Here's x1 and here's y1. Well, sure enough, I already have x1 ready right there in my formula. And I have y1 right here in my formula. So let's plug those things in where they should go. Instead of y minus y1, I have y minus the number 1 equals, instead of m, we solved and got our slope as 1 right there. Parentheses, instead of x minus x1, we're going to have x minus 1. Okay? And remember, we always want our equation to look like y equals mx plus b. So I need to clean this up. Let's do a little distributive property. 1 times anything is just going to be itself, so this is going to turn into y minus 1 equals 1 times x is x, 1 times minus 1 is minus 1. And then lastly, to finish it up, we need to we need to solve for y. So we're going to move this minus 1 to this side, and we're going to end up with y equals x. When I move that minus 1 over there, I'm going to end up having to add it, and negative 1 plus 1, those will cancel out. So my equation for this line is just y equals x. So again, a recap of my steps on what I did. I first figured out what the slope was. Had to use our slope formula, which we talked about last semester. Once I found out my slope, I used it and one of my points in the point slope, and I worked through the steps in solving it to make it look like y. Y equals mx plus b. So, that's example number one. Give me just a second and we'll do example number two.